Dark Endeavor is a novel written by Kenneth Otoole. It takes place during the time of the French Revolution in the small town of Geneva, located in Switzerland. It is about the adventure of a lifetime featuring Victor Frankenstein and his journey to save his identical twin brother Conrad. On the way, he encounters many challenges and falls in love with his distant cousin Elizabeth, who happens to be Conrad's lover. The themes of this novel include jealousy, betrayal, and love. With the help of Elizabeth and their best friend Henry, Victor and his group go on a quest to find the elixir of life.
One of the reasons I disliked these dinners was that Conrad was so much better at them than I. When we all finally sat down at the table, masters and servants united into one very large and unusual family. My twin brother effortlessly struck up conversations with everyone. This passage embodies the tense relationship between the two Frankenstein brothers, and while there is obvious love between the rival siblings, there is also a blatant jealousy as a result of Conrad's overshadowing of Victor in all aspects throughout the novel. This ties into the main themes of love, jealousy, and sacrifice.
So in the first scene, I'm Victor and Spencer's Conrad, and we're fencing. Oh no, Conrad. Oh. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good.
Damn the doctors, I said. They're little more than barbers with pills. I wouldn't trust them to groom my dog. Conrad's getting weaker by the day. We must take action, is a quote that Victor said on page 52. When his brother Conrad falls ill, severely ill, and they can't help him, just a mere days before he said this, Victor decides that he is going to return back to the Dark Library, even if he was forbidden to it, and find some form of medicine to cure his identical twin brother. Even if he's jealous of him, he still loves him very much. So he enlists the help of his distant cousin Elizabeth and best friend Henry, and they go on the quest to find this magical elixir of life. They find the alphabet of magie, but they need someone to translate it, so they go to Julius Polidori, a retired alchemist who is disabled and has a lynx as a pet. Polidori says, "You see, when a medicine works, it is blessed science, and when it fails, it is witchcraft." And that is his view on alchemy and the medicine and the elixir of life. He translates the alphabet of magie, and the first ingredient turns out to be the lunar lichen, and they go on their quest to find it on the darkest day of the year, I guess you could say. When they get it, they kind of run some problems with the vultures because they get attacked by them, but luckily they escape, and they soon go back to find the second ingredient, which turns out to be a fish called the colcan. I can't really pronounce it, but yes, that is it. They go into a very deep cave, very dangerous, put their life at risk again. They nearly get drowned, nearly die, but they escaped and they get house arrest. After a couple of days, Conrad's illness, which had gotten better, returns. So Victor and his little group decide to restart their quest for the elixir of life and get the last ingredient.
I translated the alphabet of Maggie, and the first ingredient is the lunar lichen.
Okay, where can I find the lunar lichen?
On the darkest night in the high streets.
Okay. Take a look at the second ingredient,
Okay.
please.
At the end of the novel, Victor, Elizabeth, and Henry gather at Polidori's house, hoping to find out what the third ingredient is and finally finish the elixir. After arriving at his house, they discover that the last ingredient is bone marrow. Victor offers his bone marrow and ends up losing 2 fingers. Polidori then begins to prepare the elixir and tells the group to come back for it the next day. Luckily, Henry finds out that Polidori is lying and tells Victor and Elizabeth. They discover that Polidori intended to use the elixir for himself once they had left. The group confronts him about it, but Polidori doesn't give up. Instead, he tries to leave with the elixir. Fortunately, after struggling and fighting for the elixir of life, they manage to escape. But just as they pass the gates and rush on their way home, they come across another problem, Craig. The link ends up swallowing the vial containing the elixir and almost escapes. Luckily, the group manages to catch Craig and overcome that obstacle. Hoping it isn't too late, they rush back to Conrad and give him the elixir. The following day, Conrad's illness is almost gone, and slowly he becomes healthy again. Unfortunately, just as we thought he was getting better, Conrad dies in his sleep. It was then that Victor promises that he would see his brother again, even if it meant unlocking every law of this earth to bring him back.
Conrad died in his sleep.
That was fun.
Conrad.